Welcome back to Lucore Automotive Services. Today we're working on Kenny's Camaro. This isn't Kenny's Camaro. This is Kenny's Camaro. And we have it on the rack. We've got it torn down. And I'm getting ready to put gears in it, and then I'm gonna put some exhaust on it. If that's what you want to check out, stick around. It should be fun. Maybe even educational. We ran over and picked up the correct install kit for a 7.5 inch. I double checked my bearings. My inner pinion bearing's good, and my outer pinion bearing is good, so I'm pretty confident we have the right kit. It looks to have the right axle bearings. This kit actually has axle bearings and axle seals in it, gasket and whatnot. For 7.5 inch, this one's a motive gear, R7.5 GRSKT. So we're gonna give this one a shot. And you know what? This one has the bolts in it that I like, so I don't have to go back and buy another $40 worth of bolts. So I'm pretty happy about that. I got the old pinion out, and you can see it's a monster. So this is a 1541 GM 7 5/8 gear. That's a 273. So we're pulling a 273 out, and we're going to put something else in, probably a 373. Now this pinion has a shim in between the bearing and the pinion. I'm going to pull that out and use that as a baseline. I measured my pinion depth before I took it out, and it was 2.89 inches measured distance. The new pinion actually has a 2.34 or something like that. I'll figure out what it is here in a minute when I look at it. But I'm going to start with this shim. I can take my measurement, and then I can fine-tune my shim from there. Should be pretty easy. Hopefully I can do proper math and get it done in one or two pinion pulls. I'm going to go ahead and install my new bearing races, switch my pinion shim over to my new pinion, and we'll put it together. We'll check our pinion depth. So you can see I pulled off my pinion bearing on my pinion shim. This one's actually marked as a 32 thou. It's marked with a 32, so it's a 32 thousandths shim. We're going to put that on the new pinion. We're going to put our new bearing in it, press it on. We're going to assemble it. We're going to take a reading. And that'll tell us how close we are to where I can't even see it. I need a better light. .305. 2.305. That's our target with our pinion depth gauge. I'm going to write that down. All right, let's get after it. Don't need that anymore. So my measured pinion depth is 0.193. My measured depth, which is what I set the gauge up as, is 2.5 inch. So my actual pinion depth is 2.5 minus 0.193, which is 2.307. The number etched in the head of the pinion is 2.305. So I need to put a 2 thousandths thicker pinion shim in between the pinion and the pinion bearing, which will bring my pinion in and get me right to my 2.305 reading. So I'm going to take this apart, put a 34 thou shim in it, and then I'll put it together. I'll check my pinion depth, and if it matches the 2.305, then I'll put the rest of it back together. That's a lot easier than taking it apart, putting it back together like 5 times or more. Sometimes you take it the wrong way. I know I have. But hey, that's setting up rear ends. So I'm going to take this thing apart, and then we'll put it back together again. So I went ahead and put my new 34 thou shim in between my pinion bearing and my pinion. Took my measurement. I had 3 different places on the pinion gear. My brain's mush. 3 different measurements. I had a 0.196, I had a 0.195, and a 0.194, which the average is 0.195, which was my target number. Basically, I'm measuring 2.5 inches of depth. I'm subtracting the 0.195 off of that number, and that gives me my target depth, which is printed or ground into the head of the pinion. So now I know my pinion depth is correct, assuming I did the measurement correctly, because you know that's part of it. But I'm pretty confident I'm where I need to be. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my ring gear, my new Posi unit, install my bearings on the Posi unit, and then we'll assemble it. We'll check backlash, make a backlash where it needs to be, and we'll put it together. Pretty good. That's put it together once. I pulled it out, changed the shim once, set my backlash. It should be good to go. Let's put that carrier together. Where's my carrier? There it is. Well, my backlash is perfect at 6 thou backlash. It'll open up to 7 or 8 thousandths once it gets broken in. My pattern's right where I want it to be. So I was able to use the pinion depth gauge to set my pinion exactly where the manufacturer wanted it. And then I set my backlash. Now it's time to put on a bridged cover that's in the car, so I'm going to have to drop it down. And then we're going to start working on the suspension. Right after I put the axle shafts in. So, moving forward, making progress. One bit at a time. Since we're going to be asking a lot out of this rear axle, a lot more than it was ever designed for, we don't expect this axle to hold up very long, but that'll all depend on driving, wheel hop, the nut behind the wheel and such. But we're going to give it a fighting chance with some better control arms and some better panhard bars and panhard supports. This frame was actually broken away down here, so I'm going to probably weld in the bracketry that is part of this, I think it's BMR, part of this BMR rear transverse bar kit, and it'll help strengthen it up and give it the extra oomph it's going to need for the beating this car is about to be getting. Let's get to it. I need my plate. Oh, you're gonna make me wear it. Man, those were not easy to get out. Alright. So these axle bearings require a slide hammer with a special tool to drive out easily. I'm sure there's other ways to get them out, but I typically buy tools to make my life easier. I'll go grab that. Oh, me bucket. Easy peasy. Let's get the other side done. Dang it, I lost my light again. Oh, failed. There we go. I'll put a rag over there because these bearings have a tendency to break apart, and then they're even harder to get out. Ooh, didn't break either of those. They came out just fine. Awesome. Put our new bearings in. Alright, you can see my headers are installed, my V-band clamps to my elbows, and then I'm running a 2.5-inch pipe over and out the passenger side, right next to the passenger side outlet. They sit here together, and then they come into an X pipe, which was a big goal for having on this car, was X-piped exhaust going out the rear. So now I'm going to actually put on some rear panhard rods for the back to keep my rear axle stable. And then I'm going to put this thing on the alignment rack so I can figure out my optimal position for the exhaust. And then I'll run my tailpipes. So whittling away at this thing, and we're just going to keep plugging away. So right now I'm going to move the back of the car, get my transverse bars installed, and my lower control arms installed, because we got some upgraded lower control arms for this to help stabilize this thing when it starts planting the power. Alright, put on our rear arms. I bet that's that box. Alright, rear lower arms, rear panhard rod. And we have a panhard rod support brace in here too, which relocates all this stuff a little bit lower. Ooh, that's adjustable. I like adjustable. Panhard rod relocation kit, 82 to 02. Another BMR product. Because that's what was in stock. Packaged well. Good than that. Nice. This guy's going to give me more room for exhaust. Fit on the inside. Oh, I would say those were probably bent at a time or two. We're just gonna bend them again.
Gravity. Gravity.
Yeah. I deal with that a lot. I'm used to it. That thing is really, really wide. Why is it so wide? Because this thing's been hammered at some point in its world. Well, I guess I'll just clearance that so that it fits. I get all the fun stuff. I don't see how it would make a difference whether it was mounted on this side or the other. give that a shot. First thing that'll happen is I'll have to take it apart again. Oh, that's going to require some adjustment. This tower, well, I know the tower's been hit because this eyelet's been ripped off. Make it work. Weird. That washer's messing up my width. How do we want to fix that? Always something causing me problems. But, see all this extra space I have up in here now to run my exhaust through, so that's a bonus. Let's mount both brackets on the inside. Big hammer? I gotta go get a tool. Proper application of force. This is gonna hurt. Oh. Perfect. Got that support bar preloaded. Click. Good and tight. Adjustable. That. And that's why sometimes it costs more to get stuff done than what we can price it at. Rust. Alright, let's put our new bar in and we can get onto our tailpipes. Let's take it back another inch. Oh, good thing my head was there. Extend that guy 1 inch. It should put me right where I want to be. Finish bending that guy around 90. Let's do that.
Almost at the point where you can fire it up and see what your handiwork sounds like?
That's what I'm doing. I figure I'm due my just reward and see what it sounds like before I leave.
Bill made a comment about, oh, now that you guys have got this all figured out, you'll have a whole bunch of these in the shop. And I was like, no, Bill,
no, we won't.
This is a one-time only thing. This is a nobody would do this. We're gonna do it one time.
Nobody's gonna want this.
We'll be done.
It's in there.
That sounds like magic.
Oh, let's drive down and see what it sounds like. That'll do, donkey. That'll do.
Good with it?
Oh, I love it, man. I can't thank you guys enough.
Well, that wraps up Kenny's Camaro. Exhaust, rear suspension components, seized bushings. Big surprise there. Made a lot of changes. I hope they like the way it sounds, the way it works. It's actually quieter than I thought it was going to be. I'm pretty happy with the sound. It sounds pretty cool. Definitely has a unique tone to it. I was watching as it was warming up. I drove it and it felt like it had a little bit of a stumble. So I looked at the header tubes and the number 2 cylinders. It's not cold, it's warm, I guess you would call it. So it's firing, but it's not firing well. So they may want to check their valve adjustment. Not going to drive it very far. We still have to get the cooling fans hooked up, or they have to get their cooling fans hooked up. And I'm sure there's a few other little things they need to sort out on this thing. But hey, it's a step forward, a step in the right direction. Thanks for coming along for the ride for a custom exhaust install. To be honest, custom exhaust like this isn't done all that much anymore. I don't do it all that much anymore either. Honestly, it's cheaper and faster to just buy a kit that's already built for a car and install it. Fabbing an exhaust like this takes a ton of time. I'm not great at bending them and having them come out, but I'm a lot better than when I first started, so I've gotten a little bit of practice. At any rate, we appreciate you guys coming along for the ride. Click like, subscribe, leave us a comment below. We appreciate you guys. Stay safe out there. Have a great day.